I had nothing. Like, when you have nothing to lose. And, I think my safety net was not just like knowing that I would be able to go back to my old job or get a new job in New York, but you have to deeply, deeply believe in yourself. And I see that a lot is, if you want to win, you have to find a way to win.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Name Drop podcast. Today we're sitting down with a really fun guest who is a native New Yorker who has built a business and sold it and now advises other, especially female founders in the space of building and selling companies. A really fun episode. I think you guys will enjoy it and lots of good lessons to take away. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so we're going to start off with some trendy or tragics. So okay. I'll give you a topic. And you say if it's trendy or tragic.
Okay.
Okay. Nostalgic TV reboots.
Tragic.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch enough TV, and I feel like nostalgia is like if they ever rebooted like a Seinfeld or something and they did that, like I'd be upset. I want to watch the original.
That's fair. Okay. Celebrity liquor brands.
Yeah. Trendy. That's it. It's happening.
They all seem to have them.
Yeah, everyone has one. I think it makes sense for having a beverage brand. I'm always impressed by beverage brands that succeed because the stats are so crazy against it. So if you have a celebrity endorsement and it fails, that is bad, right? Yeah, so it's like a better thing that they are endorsing it because that's a tough industry.
It's a tough industry, 100%. Corporate jargon.
I like it. I do. I think it's trendy and fun, probably because I'm a solo entrepreneur and work for myself, so I don't get to use it as much as I'd like to with like coworkers. But I do think it's fun and not trendy, but fun.
It's like it is a whole other language.
Exactly.
I was talking with someone about this earlier today.
Yeah, no, it is. I appreciate the people that make fun of it though, like online, like corporate Natalie.
Corporate Natalie's good.
Love that.
She's good.
She's ducks good. In a row. I'm always cracking up at that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Mukbangs.
Ooh, I don't think it's for me. So not trendy. Definitely tragic. I love food, but I don't want to watch other people.
Me either. I hate it. I think it's gross. I'm good. I don't need to see you talking and eating at the same time.
Agree, Mel.
I'm good.
I'm with you.
Just no thanks. Okay, so without telling us who you are, keeping your identity hidden, what are you thinking about professionally? What's top of mind these days?
Top of mind is actually female-founded exits. So we've had a lot in the news lately, and I think it's trending in the right direction, and that's like my number one goal in everything is to see more female founders exit. So I love seeing some of the big stories come out in the last few weeks of those exits.
Hailey Bieber,
the woman Andrea who started Touchland, the hand sanitizer was the same week. The Skim, Simple Mills, Poppy, it's a big 2025 year for
That's
female
true.
founders.
Poppy as well.
Yes. Yeah. There's been a lot, and it's definitely my number one. Love seeing it, and hope for many more for the back half of the year.
Amazing. Brag about yourself.
Ooh.
What are you really good at?
Following the Mets and then never seeing them win a World Series. I have 35 plus years of that. So that's something I'm very good at. Some other things I'm good at. I'm a native New Yorker. So I'm really good at the subway system. But work-wise and professionally, career-wise, I would say I'm good at building. So I've been in startups my whole career and had the opportunity to build my own. And now I help others build and launch their businesses.
Amazing. What do you think has been the most pivotal moment in your career?
Oh, definitely in my mid-20s. So I took a risk. I went to undergrad in North Carolina. And the day I graduated, I moved right back to New York City. I'm from here. And in my mid-20s, I had the opportunity very, very early to work for Uber. And I was only there 3 months. They moved. It was to be back in North Carolina where I was at school. And it was to launch the North Carolina markets. And I had to say no to the right opportunity, wrong location. And I was only there 3 months, and I had to say no. And I felt like such a failure leaving a job after 3 months, because everyone says, like, you have to stay a year, especially like Uber was the number one company at that time. Everyone was talking about it, and it was going to be life-changing opportunity. And unfortunately, I just couldn't be there, and I had family stuff and other things going on, and I had to walk away. And I think it was that moment that absolutely changed the trajectory of my career.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And at the time, it didn't feel good.
Oh, it felt awful. Oh my gosh, I felt like such a failure. I had just moved from New York City.
Yeah.
My friends threw me like a going away party, and I was back less than 90 days. It was like a Kardashian wedding.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Who do you look up to in the professional world?
Oh, there's so many. I definitely look up to a lot of entrepreneurs. I love listening and hearing their stories. Like some of the greats, it's really hard not to love like Sarah Blakely and her husband, Jesse. Yeah. Those are definitely people that I like to follow. But I also would say I look up to a lot of athletes. I think I like listening to their stories. I think there's a lot of parallels between being an underdog and working really hard towards your goals that is very similar to entrepreneurship.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's very true. Is there a piece of advice that you were given in your early career that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I worked for someone who I absolutely adore. He literally had on paper one of the most impressive resumes ever, and you would never know because how they carried themselves. Mm-hmm. And he gave me the opportunity to go out and I had an interview for an internal promotion, and he gave me a lot of advice and a lot of prep, and I didn't end up getting the job. And the next day, he told me I had to be a better sore loser. And he explained why. And every deal I've lost, every job I didn't get, and every opportunity, I am the most gracious sore loser and will send the thank you note and keep in touch and follow along. And I've gotten now more opportunities from keeping in touch with people that said no to me first. So I think that was like life-changing.
Yeah. So what was his rationale behind why it's bad to be a sore loser?
I think he had known that it wasn't, like in that specific situation, it wasn't about talent or like opportunity. It was like, hey, it was super green. There was a shot, and wait for the next one. Like another one is coming. It wasn't like all or nothing. But when you're like 22, you think there's not going to be the next job opportunity or promotion. So he just said, like, it's a small world in tech startups and the spaces that we operate, and just show up every day. And I did, And actually someone else, I took it a little too far because I was a little too eager, I would say, in my 20s. And I'll never forget. It was during Hurricane Sandy, and it was they had said the hurricane's coming that weekend, like you should bring some things home from your desk in case. And, here's the man that gave me this pep talk about the promotion. And they saw me take my 24-inch monitor home from my desk to work from home. And that was 10 years before work from home was a thing. And I took it home on the subway. And that's how I knew I was like a little too eager and green, in You're the office.
Looking around the subway like, no one else is doing this.
I'm like, why am I carrying a monitor home? Yeah. But I think I learned very early out of school, and I was given a lot of responsibilities in my first early jobs that just set the stage for what was going to happen next.
Yeah. I love that advice.
Thank you.
Rejection, I think it's easy to take it so personally, and it's usually not personal.
It's so true, Molly. I often think, like, if I didn't take it personally, would I have the grit and drive to keep going?
Yeah.
But I did learn a lot of the no's that become yeses down the line are really a timing thing.
Yes. Agree.
Yeah.
For sure. And as long as you're committed to continuing to move forward, there will be another opportunity.
I agree.
For sure. How do you manage work-life balance? What does that look like for you as an eager overachiever?
I definitely was like that. I think now I have way more balance than I did, especially working in startups and going on to start my own company at a point. I don't love the term work-life balance because to me it's life. Like,
Same.
I love my work.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't really pay me to do anything else. I'm not made to, be a first responder or a teacher or a nurse. Like, any other profession doesn't work for me. I love playing by my own rules. So work-life balance definitely looks different every day. I have client meetings. I have interviews. I have events. This morning I sat on the beach and had coffee and saw the dolphins.
That's so nice.
Yeah. So that's a privilege and I know it because I can make my own schedule, but I'd be lying if I said there aren't 14 to 16-hour days. There are a lot of those
yeah,
too.
Of course. No, I mean, I don't know why I was thinking about this on the way over here, but my mom has always said to me that you can have everything, just not at once.
So great.
And I think that there's this idea that balance is going to look like every day is going to be perfectly, equal of downtime and work time and high priorities and low priorities. And that's not reality.
Right. Yeah, I think, it's true. The days are long and the years are short.
Yeah.
And your mom is right on the money with that advice of the truth is there's a lot of, I call it the DMV, like the gray area. Like, no one likes to do it, but it has to get done. Sometimes I would block my calendar and put dentist, even if I didn't have a dentist appointment, to remind me, you don't like going and you don't like doing those tasks. So do the tasks that you don't like during that time. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There's just, there's so many things to go on. And the other privilege right now that I have is I only have to worry about myself. So work-life balance would be crazier if I had, humans and, a partner or a dog or any other thing, but just managing me is a lot. So,
right.
Until those days come, right now I'm just managing me and she's a handful.
Yeah, I totally get that. What relationship has been most impactful on you professionally?
Definitely my mom. So my mom worked in Manhattan when we grew up, and the subways weren't nearly as good as they are today, which is sad. But, the commute was long. It was an hour and change each way. And, she got us to school and got us to – and, I think about it all the time, how on earth did she do it? Because once I entered the working world and saw all the things that I had to do in a 9 to 5 and then see – what she had to do from a 6 to 9 and then 5 to 9 when she got home. I have the utmost respect for her, and everything she's done, made me work harder.
Yeah, I love that. So tell us who you are.
I am Kelly Ann Parker. I go by Kelly. I'm a native New Yorker. I gave some things away. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. That's okay.
But I am an entrepreneur. So I started a business back in 2017, 2018, and eventually it was acquired. And since the acquisition, I've made it my North Star to help more female founders launch, grow, and exit their companies. So I have an advisory firm where I help founders launch, grow, and exit their businesses.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And what type of business did you sell?
It was in the corporate gifting space, and I sold it to a company called Urban Stems. They're floral delivery here in Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. So what does an average day look like for you today when you're advising?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. I have clients that are super early, like write an idea on the back of a bar napkin and are like, hey, how do I do this? And then I have, clients that, are doing, tens of millions of dollars in revenue annually, and they're looking for a strategic partner to exit. So I really run the gamut on clientele. A lot of SaaS e-commerce founders. I really do like the e-com space a lot, but I do have B2B and so on. So I'll have a lot of advisor meetings as well as potential sales. So now I'm brokering a bit. So I'm selling on behalf of a few founders. So I'll have, those types of meetings. And then I go to a lot of events still. So I do a lot of networking and dinners and, meeting different people because the industry is so interesting to me. And I love learning about what people are building.
That's awesome. What's your favorite part?
I think my favorite part of my job is definitely the messy middle. I think it's super exciting time when someone starts a business, and I think it's, really exciting when an exit happens. But I'm in this space right now where there are a lot of messy middle companies where they know where they have to go. So not being in the day-to-day, but being able to navigate those hard problems is like a new challenge for me. So I'm really excited about that.
Okay, yeah. Good. And do you enjoy going to all the events?
I do. It's funny. I can't keep up with my wardrobe anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of events. My hair, all the things that you have to do to go to everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think living by the beach has helped a little bit because I'm just outside the city now. I'm still in the city, but just outside where I have that decompress because there's a lot of yapping.
I believe it. It's a lot of energy. A lot of social battery has to be spent when you're in that mode.
Yeah. And, but it is good. Like I will say, I don't do any online advertising or anything for what I do. Everything comes organically. So the more I go to these things, the more business.
How did your entrepreneurial experience impact the type of advisor that you are today?
That's a great question. I think I come at it from the point of view of like someone who's done it, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not an internet coach or advisor that's like, hey, become a millionaire overnight. It's nothing like that. It's really like from the point of view of someone who's been there and has navigated not having health insurance before or has bootstrapped, on credit cards to get to where I was going. So it's very real. And it's, it's kind of part of their journey too, like of having that grit and determination of seeing other people that may have not had, same backgrounds to go into entrepreneurship, but can find a space for themselves in it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's so helpful to be able to relate and just understand the different phases that business owners might be going through or be in because you've been there before.
Yeah, especially like I said, the middle, like once you have a product in market and things start to go wrong, you get that phone call. And I always say like, okay, let's make a 3-point plan or a 5-point plan, right? Like let's navigate this problem. And it happens a lot, right? Like right now there's so many different things with operations, logistics, tariffs, like so many things out of people's control. And I like being on the receiving end of those phone calls and saying like, hey, this is a problem. Let's make a 3-point plan and like, let's tackle it together. I really consider myself like a partner to the founders.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to be able to do that.
So what's a 3-point plan?
Oh, so like, usually like you never hear the problem. But like so much is emotionally tied, right? Like if we don't get the truck by A to B, this is going to happen, right? And like, it's really stressful. So it's like taking out the 3 things from the conversation. Like, I hear you. This is a problem. and like removing that like emotional scared and like giving them 3 things that they have to do to start to fix the problem.
I like that.
Because a lot of times, you know, and I used to do it too. I joked around on Carrie's podcast once. I took my bicycle and followed the UPS man down the block, like to be like, you have to take this package. So I've been there. Like, I know how stressful these things are. But I think in the moment, you have to pull apart like the difference between problems and solutions, and you have to start coming at it. So being that sound voice of like, these are 3 things that you need to do to get us closer to a solution, you know, it's helpful in the moment. But like the truth is, a lot of it is like a founder needs to be heard. You're in your own mind. You're in your majority of people don't have a sounding board in the early days for those things. So it's really nice. My biggest regret is not having more help, like, or seeking more people for those types of problems when I was early in my business.
Yeah. And it is easy to get not lost, but caught up in the emotional elements of, well, the what ifs and the future tripping. And if this doesn't happen, well, then this whole piece is going to fall apart. And a lot of times those things aren't even happening yet.
Right.
We're not even close to that. You know, it's like, what's the real issue here?
Right. Yeah. And, you know, it's one thing that I've learned is there's so much reactive, right? Like you could do everything right. And as a founder, I don't want to even give it a percentage, but more than half of your time is reacting to something that's happened in your business, right? Whether it's a customer complaint or, you know, an employee situation, like you're constantly on the reactive. So a big part of advisory and like working with founders is being proactive, right? Like what things do we have in our tool belt to kind of combat? Because you don't get into entrepreneurship for things to be steady and solid and, you know, so it's just navigating it. And honestly, it comes with muscle memory. Like the more problems you solve and the bigger problems you solve, like the better you get at it.
I agree with that. I mean, the things that I used to get really stressed out about, or just even the amount of things I used to get stressed out about early on, now I'm like, who is she?
Right.
I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, we'll figure it out. Or like, let's get to that problem when it's actually a problem. Right. And let's focus on the 3 other things that need to get done first. But I didn't used to be that calm. I didn't.
No, but you know what? I think it comes with, you know, you grow, you don't know what you don't know, but you're growing so much personally too. Yes. Like, you know, I thought about it. I was at a startup once and the founder was my same age and, you know, he was our original manager and he was managing, I was the first 10 employee and the company grew to hundreds of employees. And like, I saw this amazing growth in him and everyone else that leveled up. Right. And like, I think, you know, one thing to note is like we're growing with the company too.
Totally.
We're learning and evolving and growing different skill sets. So that calmness didn't start on day one. It happened, you know, it happened a few years in.
Totally. What do you think is one thing that successful founders or entrepreneurs have in common?
You know, I work with a lot of founders and like I think we all have our quirks. I really do. I think everyone has like how they operate and that the common piece of the most successful founders, they don't make excuses. I had nothing. Like when you have nothing, you have nothing to lose. And, you know, I think my safety net was not just like knowing that I would be able to go back to my old job or get a new job in New York. But you have to deeply, deeply believe in yourself. And I see that a lot is, you know, if you want to win, you have to find a way to win.
Yeah. And you will find it too. Like you can't, I think you can't accept that there's no possibility. If you want to be successful, you'll find those loopholes or those opportunities.
Absolutely. And you know, like it's all about doing what's in your control, right? Like I work with a lot of founders that end up becoming very inventory heavy because they have to, like, in the beginning, you have to do these mass orders and you don't have demand the way you would, right? So, like, I'm like, all right, put our sales hats on, right? And, like, that's not something everyone's comfortable doing in the beginning of, like, but I deeply believe founders have a lot of control if they view everything as, like, they're responsible for every part of the business.
Yeah.
So yeah, once you decide you're going to win and you're going to, go for it, you have to just truly be all in and not let yourself, failure can't be an option. So you have to, sell what you have, like do what you got to do, knock on doors, make the phone calls,
keep moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one thing about your career journey that people would find surprising?
I don't know if they'd find it surprising, but I've been working, like, since I'm 12, like, real jobs.
What was your first job?
My first job, I worked for the New York Daily News as a paper delivery girl, back on my bicycle, still riding that thing.
Love it.
But no, it was before school, and, like, that is also a very big commitment for a 11, 12-year-old girl. The newspapers show up in your yard. You have to roll them, band them, bag them, put them in the cart, like, take your bike out. I had a route of, like, 137 houses, and I would have to do that before school.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, it was great, like, making a few $100, like, before school. But I think that taught me a lot because you're, like, in rain and snow and, if you don't feel good, someone still needs their newspaper. So, yeah, I learned a lot in entrepreneurship from running the route. And then from there, I just never stopped working. I loved the comparison from work to school was so clear to me. Like, you could earn, you could make your own rules, like, on work stuff. School, you have to listen to rules and oh man.
I can relate to that. I actually was listening to your podcast this morning and it was with oh my God, who was it with? I know his first name's Kevin and I can't think of his last name, but he is an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And he was saying how he didn't do well in school and he didn't want to listen to the rules. And the podcast host, who's also an entrepreneur, said that he felt the same way. And they're like, I think a lot of successful entrepreneurs don't fit into the school model very well. And, like, I was a goody two shoes. So, like, I did what I needed to do. But, like, I wasn't killing it in college because I wanted to work. And so I was working more than I was really putting my back into school. I was more interested in, like, making money, internships, like, whatever I could do. I like the tangibility of work. I felt like I learned more through doing than through just listening.
That makes total sense to me, Molly. Like, I think that is, if going back to your original question, like, I think that is a common thread. Is like you gravitate towards doing versus, and that's a style of learning.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And some people are like the opposite. They're like forever students, right? They just want to learn. I'm like, that is my worst nightmare, honestly. I mean, I want to keep learning, but through hands-on work, not through, like, classroom time.
I think I learned a lot about my learning style even through COVID because during 2020 when everything was remote, right? Like, you had to, like, figure things out or, like, and one of the things I had to figure out was, like, how to fix a dishwasher. Like, people can't come into your home during this time. And I'm, like, YouTubing things. And I just love the idea of, like, the empowerment of, like, okay, I'm not good at this, but I have nothing else to do. I'm going to spend the 2 hours to learn how to, do it. So I think learning style and doing have a lot to do with entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Like, and how you get there.
Yeah, I agree. At 21, did you ever think you'd be doing what you're doing now?
Oh my gosh. I would say at 21, I knew that I absolutely would own a business one day.
Okay.
I don't think I had, like, the groundwork in my head of, like, how or what the idea was or anything like that. But I think there was definitely little things. There's a woman in my life. Her name is Jennifer Walsh. She's, like, a mentor of mine. And she was an alumni of my college, and she came to speak my senior year. And she spoke about the businesses that she built and all the things. And she was out of New York as well. And I immediately thought, like, okay, we're alike. She's cool. We're going to be friends one day, you know, and we are friends now. But, like, again, super green, like, when I was, like, 21, like, after the, like, lecture, being like, hey, like, I want to do exactly what you did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think seeing people and hearing the word of, like, people defining themselves as an entrepreneur or a business owner, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That could be me.
So you always had that, like, curiosity and interest?
I would say so, yeah. I didn't – in college, what deterred me from, like, actually going full-blown business major was, like, the math.
Yeah.
And that was, like, the hardest thing is, like, I was conditioned very early that math wasn't my thing. I struggled literally since 7 years old in math. And, you know, newsflash, you don't have to be that great at math to build a business. No. There's people that could help you build a business. But, yeah, I think that was always like, oh, well, you can't get into business because of that or, you know, accounting or finance. And then I learned, like, you know, sales and marketing and operations and all the other pieces, and then was able to, you know, learn along the way. But, yeah, I would say that was something that I always knew. I always knew I was going to work for me at some point.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, where can people find you?
So you can follow along at Launch, Grow, Exit on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm Kellyanne Parker on LinkedIn.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly. This is awesome.
It was great. All right. So you guys can find us on Instagram at namedrop.pod, and I'm at Mal Bakes. Thanks so much.